There we go. Welcome back to another episode of The Invitation. I'm doing this one a little bit differently because I'm sort of kind of going through a whole rebrand, and a lot of people don't even know what this is. And, you know, I don't always know what things are either, to be honest. Like, I do things from sacral hits, I do things from intuitive hits, and I always just kind of roll with it and then I pivot along the way. And so the invitation originally was going to be something that I wanted to do that people can have access to, that brings them information and inspiration, that knows that like you also are invited to do this work and deepen your relationship with yourself. And then from that, they can decide to take a path or not. But I think it's just about having these types of conversations accessible for everybody. And I love that I get to do it with everyone that's in the Diamond Codes membership or everyone that signed up for the whole 6 month journey. This is going to be call number 4. But what I realize is like, I don't explain a lot. Like, I think a lot, but I don't sometimes explain a lot. And so today, I want to do what I think the invitation really is. And it's an invitation into the community and the world that I create. And so I tend to attract exquisite women, like unbelievable women. Even if we just have one session, if we work together in mentorship, if we've done retreats together, if we're in the membership together, I end up making friends with most of the people that are in my world, and we stay connected. Like year after year we stay connected. And so this is like a happy hour of us coming together, even if we're not working together still, and just talking about how our life has been since we decided to prioritize the things that we prioritize once you come into my world, which is radical responsibility, emotional elegance, experience over evidence, and all the other things that I sort of have coined in the work that I do. So I'm staring at this beautiful cold bottle of champagne that I had my husband go get me because I realized I didn't have any. And I was like, I don't want to drink white wine today. I want to drink champagne. It's the invitation. So bless him. And I'm in my living room because I wanted it to just feel like we're on the couch. And like, my son might come home. Who knows who's going to show up? I put Delilah outside because she's been barking a little bit more than normal. So she's staring at me really sad, and we love her so much, but she has water and it's not too hot out and it's going to be okay. So first thing I wanted to do as I open this bottle is there's a couple times, like throughout the work that we do together, there's sometimes people that like stand out because I'm like, whoa, like that was a fast turnover. And so I would love to ask, and if you guys please feel free to say no, even though this is live, like you can tell me no, just shake your head and say no, Jenny. But there's somebody that I have noticed that has like done a deep dive, and we haven't met. We met, but we haven't, it hasn't been a long time since we met. And this work is not for the faint of heart. Like, we know this. All of you, especially on this live call, know this. Like, this is deep stuff. Like, this stuff changes everything, but hopefully it changes the most important thing, and that's the relationship with yourself. But I want to see, just going to make eye contact with you, if Emma would want to come up and just talk about her experience, because it's been maybe 6 months since we met. And the last 2 courses you did, you like dove deep into everything. And I'm like, this girl, like, talk about being self-led. And so do you mind like just talking about your experience in the voice of the bespoke and signed, sealed, and sovereign from somebody that just came into this community not too long ago?
Yes, I would be happy to. Hello, ladies, and cheers. I'm drinking so I thought about doing the same thing, wine or champagne, and then I just went straight to the tequila bottle. So here we are. um, no,
Uh,
I think honestly, for me, hold on, let me take a little sipper here. Um,
Hi, Michelle.
I always looked at myself as like super accountable, super responsible for myself, thought in my head, prior to all of this work and the last two master classes, like, no, like I don't play the victim anywhere in my life. And doing this work and going through the master classes and feeling the oh shit moments of, we talked a lot about what are some of those stories that we've held on to, or what are some of those like limiting beliefs or stories that aren't ours. And for me, I had this total revelation of, holy shit, maybe I am playing the victim in certain parts of my life that I just did not even realize. And it wasn't until doing these master classes and sitting there with my journal and rereading and even rewatching some of them and listening to myself or listening to others and go, oh shit, I didn't catch that the first time. And going back and listening to some of these, what I call these like just mind-blowing moments or comments that just stick with you. And so um what I've found is just after these two, I have this whole new sense of what I've been calling this fierce accountability era. And I notice it in a change in the way I react to things, the way I respond to things, the way I talk to myself. That's a huge one. Self-talk. I think at Jacree, we were doing some journaling work, and I think it was Chelsea that I mentioned this to, and I said, I am such a bitch to myself sometimes. My inner voice can be such a bitch. And I've noticed a change in the way that I talk to myself. And it's just been a very beautiful transformation and ongoing process of learning to just come home to the person that I am and just this deep appreciation for me. And so I've just been super grateful for, all of the work and the content, because I'm still going back to it, still revisiting certain episodes and certain courses and meditations, like, oh, what else can I extract out of this? So it's been definitely a big part that has changed just the way I've showed up the last few months.
Yeah, I feel it and I see it. And thank you for just letting me call on you. But
Yeah.
you're somebody that I love when people do the homework and share it. I know a lot of people, I'm actually someone that doesn't do homework and share it when I'm in communities. And it's because I'm a private person and, I respect everyone's process. But for holding space for people, when I get to feel what you're feeling and you've shared a lot of your homework and your reflections, that's what's allowed me to see like life through your lens and made me think like, oh, this girl's going after it. Like she's like no stops here. She is all in. And that is really the biggest compliment I could ever have is people taking it seriously and doing it. And I the last few days I've just been kind of sitting with the energy, and I don't know if you guys caught the Tarot and Tea podcast with Ellie Pierpoint, but we really talked a lot about Libras. And I didn't mean to like come off that Libras trigger me, but like I was like, some of my best friends are Libras. I thought if I already am so hard on myself with everything I say, and so I try to ignore the recap of what I say because I could just be so mean, talk about a bitch in my head. But Ellie messaged me after and she goes, I think I realized why Libras trigger you. I'm like, did I say Libras trigger me? Libras don't trigger me. I love Libras. And I was so like, oh shit, like what did I say on that episode? But all Libra placement, when the sun is in Libra, they square my moon and square my sun and square my Mars and square my Mercury. So that means there's like this kind of like toe to toe, which as you guys are learning to know me, I run towards friction sometimes. So I probably like, oh, challenge, yay, let's figure this out. Like, let me investigate everything that's uncomfortable because that is the purpose of my life. But really, I think that sitting in Libra energy now, because we're in Libra season, has reminded me how we all have Libra in our chart. We know that, but we all have a lot of these shadow aspects of Libra energy within us just because of the codependency that we've sort of gathered along the way through evolution. And so this season, when I'm thinking about what am I going to come to you guys with, what is the invitation for this season, I think about bringing more awareness and knowledge around the fact that we are trying to find harmony in things that are not harmonious for us. We are trying to solve problems that do not need to be solved. We are staying in relationships that are expired. We are holding on to beliefs in order to achieve justice that is so outdated. And so if we can realize like maybe it's an inner harmony we can be interested in this season. Maybe it's more of a relationship between mind and heart, and realize how heavy on the mind we get and how afraid of the heart we are. And that is going to change the way that we lead ourselves, because it's not going to be about our outer world, it's going to be about our inner world. And that really is all of the work I do. But man, is our perception of ourselves flawed. And that is the hardest thing, because we do this work and we try to self-lead ourselves the best we can, but we do not know until the outer world reflects back what is actually going on. But then we want to get an argument with the outer world. We want to, have a case. We want to defend ourselves. But instead of doing that, maybe we lean back and we just go inward and say, well, this is something I'm creating. And if I'm creating this, if this is actually something that is part of my path, where can I now, we're going to talk about Mars in a second, but where can I now take action and just sort of forget about outer justice for just a moment and think about inner justice and what is motivating us? And I think one of the things that has always motivated me without me knowing it is peace, because I've always been so dysregulated. Like I've always been in this state of survival or this state of disassociation, or, just trying to get to my next source of pleasure. I think there's always just been this, like, I can't breathe. I'm in the grind. What's next? I'm just in survival. And then I wanted to just take a breath. And so the peace was what I was seeking. And I didn't really get to peace until I did this inner descent and listened to my inner child and found out what I was saying. And Lori, who you all know, is she's such a beautiful person, but when you train with her, she is a different person. And we love that person too. But oh my gosh, that girl, I'm so sore. Like I couldn't even sit on this couch, and this couch is cozy. I'm so mad at her right now. But we were having a conversation on Tuesday, and she said, if I spent as much time with my soul or spirit like you do, I'd be a different person. And I thought about that, and I was like, I don't think I think you misunderstand. Like, how do you think I lead my life? And I think she thinks I just like sit with my inner child, blow bubbles all day and like color. I'm like, that is not how I live my life. Maybe she doesn't think that, but that's sort of like, wait, let's reframe. You know what it is that I do? I obsessively observe myself. And the only way that I was able to better myself through obsessively observing myself was through knowing the truth frequency, knowing that neutrality, that voice that I had to find underneath the wounded inner child. And so I went and I did inner child work, and I did inner child work, I did inner child work until I got still enough to say, where's the voice that is in my heart that it feels still, and it's not motivated by emotion or activated by emotion. It's still, it's neutral. And then that is the voice, because now I know how to call it in. I know what it feels like. It's not activated at all. It's not attached to anything. It's not scared of anything. And it comes in and we have conversations about what I see and how I act in the human. And so I don't strive to be this spiritual being. I mean, certainly not. I mean, I'm having a spiritual happy hour with people drinking tequila and vodka and champagne. I mean, I want to be human with you. And I want to hope that we can define our own version of spirituality by knowing ourselves. And it's going to look different for all of us. And the more that we go heavy on the spiritual side, the more that we can get a little, righteous or judgmental or spiritually bypass and get too far into this all beautiful, holy place where it's like, that's not why we came here. We came here to be human. And we learn through the mess. We learn through the conflict. We learn through the pain. And I've done that over and over and over and over and over and over again, to where now I'm not afraid to be human. So much so that I've been telling you guys stories that I cannot believe I've been telling you. Do you know how many times I regretted telling everybody in Signed, Sealed, and Sovereign about how I like Supermaned off stairs and choked out my ex-husband? That is just insane story. And I was like, why did I tell that story? Why did I tell that story? And the story is true. So one of the reasons I told it is because it's part of my life. And I think that I'm not ever going to show up as being like, well, I've just been doing this work for so long. Someday you'll be where I'm at. Like, fucking Christ. That, and I cuss like a sailor. Ellie Pierpoint, she's like, I love that your podcast is explicit. You know why it's explicit? Because I had I'm not going to call this person out. I had a person that I actually love. I'm not calling her out. I had somebody on the podcast and we did an interview. It was an amazing interview. And it actually is one of my most rated podcasts. Well, I made a reference about somebody saying, like maybe from high school, I don't know. I said fat bitch. I was like, yeah, like somebody's like, oh my God, that fat bitch. I don't even know. And I didn't mean, I was like making fun of a hypothetical person and then calling them the mean person. Like it was just, I don't even remember, but I got my ass handed to me, like really, really bad. Somebody from Australia was really mad at me. And I was devastated. Like I apologized profusely. I had my podcast guy take off the podcast, edit that part out of the podcast, repost the podcast. I mean, I tried to do damage control so much. And like I'm sweating talking about it because I'm like, who else is going to be mad that I said that? I'm so sorry. Like I just sometimes cuss. It's the language that I was raised with. I'm actually got a clean mouth now. No, but what I realize is it's just who I am. And if you're in my living room and we're having happy together and we're talking about the things, this is how I would talk. And people would either love it or they're going to get turned off by it. And that's okay. But Ellie was like, I love that your podcast is explicit. And it's like, because I cuss, like sometimes it just flies out of my mouth and I don't even mean it. And I never mean to be angry about it. I think I'm hilarious sometimes. So I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to keep doing it, especially on the invitation because we're having happy hour together and that's just what happens. Anyway, moving on. That totally made me lose train of thought because I was so sad I hurt that person's feelings by my potty mouth. So I'm sorry if you still listen. I don't think she does though. Okay, moving on. So we are in Libra season, and what else happened is Mars moved in to Scorpio, and Mars loves to take action. And Scorpio loves the unconscious, loves depth, loves secrecy, loves investigating, loves getting underneath something. And so I'm actually very excited for this season. Scorpio rules my fourth house, but wherever Scorpio is in your chart, it doesn't matter because Mars is going to make some strides while he is there or she is there. And so I think that what I would like to do for this season and the invitation that I would like to invite you guys to do is please, please, please stop silencing yourself. Like allow yourself to really voice your frustrations in the mirror and say, and what are we going to do about it? And what are we going to do about it? And what are we going to do about it? Because Mars moves. Mars doesn't ask for directions. Mars doesn't ask for permission. Mars probably isn't even going to apologize. Mars takes action. And so if this planet is going to be in Scorpio, I feel like we have so much energy that is assisting us in the unconscious around what is dormant in our unconscious and what is dormant in the shadow aspect. Like it's also the shadow that we think if it comes to light, we're going to be judged, ostracized, canceled, not liked. Can we be courageous enough to move it out and say, this is me. This is me. I cuss sometimes. This is me. I like to drink champagne. This is me. I'm sorry that I don't talk about my offers and everything and nobody knows what I do. I've had multiple people in the last, couple weeks say like, I went to your website. I don't know what you do. Well, I went to your website. None of the links work. Well, I listened to that podcast, but that link didn't work. And I'm the culprit. It's me. I don't know how to do these things. And I think I do, and I don't. But that's okay. So we pivot. What are we going to do about it? We're going to hire somebody. We're going to hire somebody for help. We're going to admit that we can't do everything. We're going to move. So ask yourself, what areas that are in my shadow that, when you think about your shadow, it's like, where are you not so proud of yourself? Where do you feel like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Can we talk about something else? Where do you feel not your best? And how can you look at it until it's not scary anymore and say, what are we going to do about that? And can we actually allow ourselves to be more of the duality that we are? Can we be more mind and heart, body and soul? Because we are all of it. And the best part about it is when we're moving, we get to say, oh, yeah, I didn't know that then. One of my biggest fears always has been like, oh, well, I'll be a hypocrite. It's like, well, let's hope that maybe that is the case, because that means you're learning and you're growing and you're evolving. So don't be afraid anymore. We have to take action to move. And this is what I see so much, is that we get so caught up in our minds, and we have a list and we know what's wrong, and we have our manifestation lists, and we know all the things, and then we just sit there. And it's like, I believe in you can wish upon a star, but I also look at my life and I wish upon a star every day, all day. It's my favorite thing to do is dream, but I take a lot of aligned action. And when I take aligned action, my first aligned action is, why did that hurt your feelings, Jenny? Why did that offend you, Jenny? Why are you jealous, Jenny? Why are you resentful, Jenny? I'm always asking myself questions about the things that come up through the day that make me less of, I don't want to say less of a person, but living in less integrity or not being as emotionally elegant as I strive to be. And I'm not all the time. There's no way I can be that all the time. There's no way I can be, emotionally elegant in my marriage and being a mother and now a grandmother and leading a business. And it's just not going to happen. And so I then have to reflect. I have to know that that's a North Star that I'll probably never reach, but take aligned action to reflect upon myself and know that it can't be in the mean voice. It can't be in the bitch voice. That's not going to do anything. That's going to make us feel smaller and go more into the shadow. It has to be in that neutrality, that higher wisdom, that, we all are like that. None of those feelings I just mentioned are unique to me. There's no woman that doesn't feel resentful, angry, mad, jealous, envious, annoyed, triggered. Those are human emotions that we probably flirt with every day. But why don't we talk about them? Why don't we talk about them as in they're just normal? Like, I'm like, how are you? Such a weird question. How are you? It's like everyone just lies. We don't have time. Like, when's the last time that you really did explain to somebody how you truly are? Like, you know what? I'm not doing too well. Like, I'm really jealous of this new neighbor that moved in. She's really pretty. I kind of want to hit her, but I wouldn't. I mean, of course not. Like, what? Like, you wouldn't say that. I don't know why I just said that. Actually, you know why I said that? Because I watched Nine Perfect Strangers on Hulu, which is about a woman that hosts retreats with Nicole Kidman. And there's this scene where this woman was in the hot tub and she's like, "You're so pretty. I kind of want to just punch you in the face." And I'm like, I think every woman has felt that way at some point. At some point, somebody is like, your prettiness makes me uncomfortable. And we don't talk about that. Why would we talk about that? We're not a bunch of psychos. Or are we, Okay, I'm going off the rails here. So I want to see if anyone else wants to maybe share their experience in either the retreat or a membership or a masterclass, just to kind of talk to me and tell me and let the listeners hear, like, what is it like being in our community? What is it like being able to be in these classes? Am I always off the rails like this? The answer is yes and no. You can just raise your hand or unmute yourself, and I won't call on anyone else. I think that was probably not very nice of me.
You can go ahead, Jenny.
Hi, Heather. I was like, somebody's unmuting. I feel it.
Okay, so I think all the work that I've done with you, the retreats, the one-on-one, everything, the classes, I keep learning just a little bit more. I keep getting other little tidbits of things that I can incorporate like into my everyday life. And the thing that you just mentioned about how women get, a little about other women, it's fine if you vocalize it and you say like, hey, you're so pretty, like I'm jealous, but it's not good when people are like passively aggressive jealous towards you, because then you pick up bad vibes and you're like, oh, I gotta stay away from that person. I don't know why, I just have to. So I wish other women would And it's not just beauty, it's like skills or something you have that they don't, you know? And I think that's one of the things that I loved about the retreat was that there was all of these amazing women. There was like, it wasn't a work function, it wasn't a family function, and it was just everybody like in their most raw way, I feel like, and we were just able to connect, and anything that came up for people, we talked about it. It was just a real, I don't know, like really women in their real truth.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I love that you loved it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it reminds me of Lauren. So Lauren, the first year I did a retreat, so that was 4 years ago. If you guys remember that, or if you guys were there. So there's blonde Chelsea and then brunette Chelsea, the two facilitators. And blonde Chelsea was a facilitator, or a guest the first year, and then she came back as a facilitator. But she was showing that she just bought a brand new Bronco, and she was showing this to Lauren and I, and we were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And like it was just awesome. It was like right when those Broncos came out, and then Lauren said, I'm feeling like weird about something. Can I share with you guys? And we're like, yes, of course. And she's like, well, I have a really nice Jeep and I want to show it, but I don't want to be like one-upping you. Like, it feels like weird to me to be like, oh, and this is my Jeep. And it was just such a moment where we all were like in our highest version of ourselves. We were like, of course we want to see it. And it was like this souped up big, I don't know anything about cars, which you think I would. My husband owns a car dealership, but it was a badass Jeep. Like we're like, this is amazing. And it's like that wound she just got to safely express. Like, I don't want to come off like I'm bragging. I don't want to come off like I'm taking away from your new car. And the thing is, when you're with the right women that are doing, any type of self-reflection, and you just admit, like, I'm feeling a little insecure, or, I've had a life where I can't speak my truth because I'll be shamed for it or made fun of for it forever, ever, ever, ever after this. And I remember that so vividly because she was so proud. I was so proud. I was like, I drive a mom car. So anyway, no. But it was a cool moment. It was a really cool moment. And so I think that if we're the ones doing this, we have to be the leaders of it. And we have to just be always vulnerable and know when to speak that way. Terry, I remember a conversation with you, and it was about a coworker, and we were talking about like your inner child, because anytime we're triggered, we have to go right to that feeling. And then we flipped it and we're like, well, what do you think her inner child is feeling? What do you think her inner child is feeling? And we both had this aha moment because we got to feel deeper into her story and deeper into her reaction, and then it changes everything. Like, just that extra work changes the energetics, and everything truly is energetics. So even if it doesn't come, I doubt Terry went to work and was like, so I had a conversation with your inner child and I realized that you have a lot of abandonment wounds. And so I'm going to let you have space with that and step back and just let me know if you ever want to talk about your daddy issues, I'm here. That probably would not go over very well. But if we have the emotional intelligence to understand or feel deeper, it gives us so much more freedom in how we navigate our day. You guys, I swear I am on one. Okay, I was reading some of the chat. Terry, you love cussing too. Thank goodness, because man, I think anyone from the East Coast, I'm pretty good. Like everyone from the East Coast is like, yeah, it doesn't affect me. Okay, Cree, but you're East Coast too, man. See, you guys, even capitals, you love the cussing. There's something so special about celebrating other women with other women and hyping each other up and celebrating the proud moments. I could not agree more. And have you ever met though, because I don't want to ever single anyone out, but I'm just going to talk general. Like, the women that I attract are strong. They're strong, they're self-led, they're usually high achieving, they're high accomplishing, they're just very, very intelligent, and they've had big lives. They've lived and survived a lot. And I think what happens is when we start to do this, it's kind of a secret. We're not advertising it, we're not letting everybody know, because we have so many layers and walls and barriers around our heart. Like it's not safe to feel. At least that's what we've thought for so long. And then we come out of left field with this like tender, high emotional elegance, leading ourselves, and people are like, what? Like they're just so like shocked and shook by what is actually underneath the surface. Or if you offer it to somebody that is that way, that's not quite dove into themselves yet. And that you get that like glimmer in their eye, you get that little tear in their eye that you're like, I knew it. I knew that you were not a bad bitch all the time, that you have this sweet, sweet soul. And the reason that you are the way that you are is because you're so tender and you care so much and you're so guarded. Like those are the women that we are. And it's beautiful because I think this is why I love us is because if we can work this hard in the outer world, then I know that we will work this hard in the inner world. We have resilience. We just have it in the outer world. Now we have to do it in the descent into ourselves. And I believe that there's nothing that is going to get us off track because I can see the woman that has been built in this life on the outside. And so I just have like this unwavering devotion to the evolution of the woman that has survived and shows herself in a way that it's like, I know you've got this, but let's bring a little bit more peace into your life. Let's bring a little bit more joy into your life. And let's like relax and let the universe be your daddy and start giving you all that you desire and realize you do not have to do everything. That's sometimes the block is, but I want to be the source of how it comes to me when it's limiting when we believe that way. Emma, talk to me.
Hey, I'm not going to take up the whole, I'm not going to be the star of the show, you guys, but I just had to say this because it made me think that when Natalie told me about Jacre, and, it's all these great women, and I immediately went, ugh, because let's be honest. I mean, I've worked in predominantly male-led industries, partly for a reason, and I've shied away from anything that's like sorority, like a bunch of women. Like I always felt ick. I don't want to be, to me, it's going to be catty, gossipy, judgy. I don't want to be around it. And so when when I stepped off the bus at Jacre, I was like, I had a little bit of anxiety, just not knowing, okay, who's going to be here? What's the energy going to be like? There's inevitably going to be, drama or something. And there was none of that. And I think that was the biggest shocker for me too, is just to your point of you attract really strong, accountable, responsible women. There was none of that. But there was so much support and like hyping each other up and celebration. And there was no feelings, at least from my perspective, of like judgment or comparison or anything like that. It was just such a very kind of neutral energy of we were all just there as we were. And there was no there wasn't any cattiness at all. And it's in all the women that I've met that work with you are that way. And I just think that's such a rare thing to find, but that's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I believe it, but it also truly, I think, is one time I said this and it stayed with me, but I feel like any space, whether it's a retreat, a party, a work environment, like the energy of the event can only be as good as the energy of the person holding the space. And so I really feel like the way that I speak to you all, like even when I like put your names on the mirrors and I like will journal, like in the diamond codes, like I have this journal that I journal everyone's names and put hearts around, because it's like if I care so much and really speak to you energetically, because I don't have the time to like call everybody and be like, are you okay? Are you nervous? Do you show me all your outfits, even though I want to know all your outfits? It wouldn't make sense. But if I just sort of have this prayer of like, I'm ready to hug your highest self, then it seems to work out. Like it's like, and we will always have nerves. Like I have nerves. That is something that every woman, when they are getting ready to go to anything, nerves are one, it's our own nerves, but we're collectively now merging. So we all merge and we usually all end up on our cycle too, but like we energetically merge. And so when we're energetically merging, it's all of our kind of fears coming to the surface. And then we have to just ask like, well, what am I going to do with this energy? Like, am I going to let it lead the way, or am I going to let it go, let it go, let it go. And I just feel that that is something that I really hold space for you to show up, knowing that you are going to be so held and so taken care of, because the work, as you, most of you know, is, you know, not fun. It's hard, it's scary, it's a deep dive into the part of the shadow and the descent into ourselves. And that the last thing we want to worry about is, you know, somebody talking about us next to it. Like it's ugh. So thank you for saying that, reflecting that back. And it is my dream. And I hope that it continues to happen that same way. So good. Mm. Yes, I felt you, Alex. I totally did. I almost said your name even before your hand went up.
I was like, this wind chime behind me, which I know I have a wind chime in my room, but let me tell you about this wind chime. It started to move and chime, and I was like, that's my sign, because air is communication. And spirit like always communicates to me through this chime, because I'm like, nothing's changed in my room. And so I just want to name that. And also my solar plexus is like, has butterflies in it. But I've been moving through some really pretty big things for me. I literally feel like I moved a mountain off my body
Mm.
just in the last few days. And it's been so cool to have the awareness, and also just so many perspectives of like how to process, you know, what's happening through the invitation of the perspectives that you bring in through the teachings, but also the perspectives that the community brings, you know, with their own wisdom. It's always like celebrated for people to bring in like their own perspective and their own knowledge. And so for me, it has been like a safe space for my voice, and for me being able to share it, to kind of increase my capacity in sharing it in a safe space where it's not judged, it's actually really welcomed. And seeing all the little threads, like I know Jenny, your Chiron's in Gemini, and my Chiron's in Gemini, and there's so many of us in that group that has Chiron in Gemini, but it's we all have it in different houses, and so that obviously plays into the communication piece. And so it's just been I've loved every container from before Diamond Codes that I was in, and I've really just enjoyed the weaving of you honoring your three line through it all, and that experimentation piece, because that's something I also have. And it has kind of given me a lot of freedom around my own creation to be like, you know what? I'm gonna shift things, and I can, because that's how I like that's how I'm in my satisfaction and joy, and that's how I can serve others best, is by staying true to that three line. So there's just been so much beautiful examples of authentic embodied leadership um that has allowed me to not rush in my own creation process, and to stay really, really, truly authentic to my medicine and who I am and how I want to bring it into the world, and not get distracted by noise or shiny objects of like, I have to do it this way because this is what people want. It's like, no, but that's not who I am. And so, just all the encouraging spaces and examples from your authenticity and embodied leadership, which has then led everybody else to really stay in that same frequency, I think has been the biggest thing for me. And I love just getting rewoven back in with people that I've known for some time over your containers, like Terry here. I always love seeing her because I don't see her all the time. And so yeah, so many wonderful things.
So good. Alex, like I feel like it's been like a year and a half or something, right? Like it's been a while. And like even hearing you speak, like you're speaking from your solar plexus. You know, like your voice has evolved so much, and it's so like it brings tears to my eyes, because it's like whether we come for a little bit or come for a long bit, or you know, come and go or whatever it is, it's still part of this like evolution that happens that I get to see, and I just love it. So thank you so much for that reflection. Cree said something similar about the other day, I just got done with a master class about my 3-line. And so if you're a 3-line or a 6-line in human design, it's all about failing forward and trial by fire, and like just like we're the ones that are like, I'll do it, and then tell everyone else like what to do and not do and be the example of it. And with that, you have to be like humble in your mess. Perfectionism is your curse. And I did something and Cree was like, we can do that. Oh, I was going live and my connection was like not, and I was like, I'll just be right back. And I went off and went on live again. She's like, I think I would have just canceled the whole live. And so it's like permission. Like that is probably what I will do, is give you permission. Like you could be like really ghetto and do really crazy stuff in your past. Like I keep telling you in these master classes that I'm like, oh my God. And the craziest part about telling that story was when I was like, and I'm not sorry. What is going on? Like I'm so happy that everybody has gotten to know me enough to know that I don't know if that was for entertainment purposes. I don't know if that is just lack of empathy in that moment. I have no idea why I said that either, but it is true. It is my life. Everything I tell you guys is true. It's just sometimes it's delivered in this funny package that makes us all laugh. Cree, come on, talk to me. Oh, I'm getting red. Oh, you're muted.
I was like, I'm trying to not get my raucous laugh on this recording, so that muting was perfect. Oh, I love you so much. Okay, what I want to share, like, there's so many things that I want to say about my time with you, which has not been long,
Oh.
but it feels so deep. I came into a master class and went straight into working one-on-one with you, and then straight into working one-on-one with you more. And when I first came into your world, I was like looking for something. Basically, it was the first time for some reason where I felt an unspoken connection with someone in a completely different kind of leadership than I've ever been. I've been in so many different coaching containers before where I felt like I could just say, which was, there's something in me that I know I'm supposed to share and I don't know what the fuck it is. And that's as much as I've got, but I know it, but I know it and I don't know. And I'm so tired of this question of why, how, what, like I don't know what to do with that. And that was more than enough information somehow for you. And what it resulted in, because I thought what I was coming for was like, okay, maybe this final piece is like, I connect with spirit. And if I can connect with spirit, I'll get my answers. And what you actually have brought out of me so fast and in like such a direct way was like, this is not about anything else outside of you, and we're done with that. And that happened so fast. It was like, no, we're done with that. Like this is about you and you. And I just kept trying to add more information and more skill sets and more certifications and more, I have all the degrees and I have all like more and more and more to like, if I can find the right thing, then I'll know what my thing is. And it was like, your thing is you. So I don't even know you that well, but I can tell you've been through a lot of shit in your childhood and this and this and this. And I had never thought for a single second that all of my challenges were my skill set, were my gifts, more powerful than my certification and all of the things that I know so well. And what resulted was in the past few months, I have never, the way I'm showing up, the way I'm speaking, the frequency, standing in my authority, the sovereignty, like I just made a Stripe link on my way home right now. I'm putting out an offer in a way that I've never have before. And these were all things that I was afraid to do. Like there's no rules. Like you get to just do this as you are now. Guess what? You can change it next month. Just keep meeting yourself, meeting yourself, meeting yourself, meeting yourself. And that gave me the greatest permission. That gave me the greatest permission. And so I'm just so grateful in every space that I'm in with you, from one-to-one to the diamond codes. It's a space of meeting myself, my authentic voice, my heart going into my heart, bringing that forward and being in a space where everyone else is doing the same. And it's like, it's the most powerful thing. And that's enough. And that's absolutely enough. So I've never felt more enough exactly as I am. I thought I needed to add something else, and Spirit was just there, like in a cuss word. Like, it could be like, it doesn't have to be this special ritual. Like, yeah, you cuss, so what? People like that. Like, I'm like that. Should I mute myself? I didn't even realize, basically, I didn't realize that I was a people pleaser because it has a bit of a tough presentation.
Mm.
And you brought out that like recognition of this is not about you adding more things. It's like taking away permission, tighten up those boundaries. That's a leak. That all of these places that I had never looked at before, and all of my gifts were right there. And so I'm really, really grateful for meeting me, like the real me, and then realizing like that was the big answer that I didn't know that I was asking for.
So good, Cree. Wow. Like hearing you say that is like I met me through meeting you. And I think that is probably one of like the best ways to put the work I do, because I was the same, and I wanted a certification to, you know what I felt like most of my life was. Okay, first I have to do this. Like, do you guys ever wear those sticky bras? Well, one is off of one boob, and I just need to get this thing off. The sticky bra has been removed. There's for your entertainment. I hate those things. That one needs to go in the trash. Okay, this is what I would do. Is I would know things. I've always known things. Like I had premonitions. I just didn't want to label it psychic. I didn't want to label it empath. I didn't want to be different. All I wanted to do was just like be normal and fit in and be liked, really. Um, and so I wanted evidence of what I knew. And so even my first love was psychology, really, truly. I wanted to be a child psychologist. And then, I always liked astrology, but I had more faith in psychology. So I was born to be an investigator of the human experience. But I doubted myself. I was so insecure. So I wanted to get to like when I went to go do hair, I did it for a fast degree. It wasn't a degree. What is it? A trade, fast trade. And then everyone's like, you are so good at this. You are so good at this. So I built confidence being good at something that I didn't really want to do, but I did it for 10 years and I was really good at it. But then I did other things and people were like, you're really good at this. But I just did it because again, it built my confidence. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And so what I always wanted to do was work with people and help people and really truly help children. But now I realize it's actually help the inner child, the people that have abandoned their inner child, which is all of us. And when I did mediumship, same thing. You're really good at this. But then I was like, I don't want to do mediumship. Like this whole thing is weird to me. And I will still say that. Like I've lost people and I understand, but why do we want to continue to have conversations outside of ourselves if we're not having a conversation with the most important person, and that is ourself, our inner child? Like I don't get it. And I now have that language. And when you have that language, you get to talk to yourself, you get to talk to those who have deceased, you get to talk to those who are alive, you get to talk to whoever and whatever you want through the energetic realm. It's a frequency. And then when you get fluent in that frequency, you start to see things in this way that is just unbelievable. But that also can be boring because that's not why we came here. I don't want to be in the etheric realm all the time. I want to have a human experience. That's why I'm here. So I want to put on a beautiful dress and I want to have champagne with my friends and I want to laugh and I want to cry about the things that hurt me so bad. And I want to talk about my frustrations because I want to have something else to work on. Like that is it for me. And so what happens is when you stand in front of me, I attune to you and I speak to you in a way that you are going to receive, like be receptive. And that's why I love working with people from the East Coast, because I show up to session and like when that girl got in your DMs and was telling you all this crazy shit, I was like, fuck that bitch. Like, no. And I talked to you in the way that you needed to hear to finally establish the boundary. Now, if I'm working with somebody from the UK, I can't talk like that. That will put their nervous system in a state of freeze and they're probably going to think I'm crazy. But I attune to the person and speak to them in a way that they need to hear to make a move. I literally provoke consciousness. It says it in my human design. And now that I know that, now that I'm confident, I don't need another certification. I have the ability and was born with the ability to attune to someone else's energetic field and give them the information they need to know to wake up. Wake up. And when they wake up, they can decide how they're going to take aligned action. The timeline is not my job. I can see how you could potentially get to wherever, but people have their own journey. And if you're a 3 line or a 6 line, it might be a little slow because we like to learn a lot on the way. We like to fail a lot, pause, be a victim for a while, go backwards. I don't know, bring the fucking neighbor. Like, we are a hot mess express sometimes when we're on our learning path. So there's no, Melanie Ann Layer says there's no right or wrong. There's right or left. Right or left, make a move, time to pivot. Okay, try again, get up, recover. Let's do this. Like, it's part of life, and we talk about it. And I love what you just said to me, and I'm so happy for you. And I can feel the authenticity and the sovereignty and the confidence bubbling out of you, and you are in your lane, and it's brilliant.
Thank you. I wanted to also say that I really thought this might be the most woo-woo container that I've ever been in. And not that I don't have any issues with woo-woo, but I thought this was gonna be like this is it.
Mhm.
And it from the jump, this has actually been the most human experience. Your guidance is very much it like led immediately to aligned action. It was immediately like making moves, changes, enjoying in your human sensations. Like it was that. And that's not necessarily what it looks like from the outside, but actually the work is so human. And that was exactly what I needed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love that. And I think that because of my love for artistry, I advertise with more of that inner child. But when you come into the world, I'm a straight shooter. Michelle, yes. See how we're doing on time. We're doing good. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Doing all right. Um, so just listening to these ladies, since I started working with you, since we met over strawberry wine, um, you have pointed out things that were just in a sentence, the most pivotal things that have ever been said to me.
Mm.
That, I mean, I've done regular counseling, I've done those things, and there's like, here's a pill. I'm like, antidepressant, yay, that didn't help me at all. There were just certain things that they were getting, they were like, this'll solve the whole thing. Or they would tell me things to do that had no impact and nothing to do with the actual problem that I was trying to resolve. Um, and you dug up stuff, so thanks for that. You dug up things that they had to be dealt with. And I knew it was there, but the way you handled it from your end and the way you helped me to handle it from my side is what I needed to start to work through it. And like I've said, these ladies know that I'm still a baby in a lot of this stuff, and I've been. It's so funny that you say Hot Mess Express because that is the shit that it has been this week. I've been in a mood. I've been just Hot Mess Express. I've been hot off the presses pissed, honestly, about many things that are going on. And the thing about all of this and with this community is I know I'm going to be able to go there and I can express that, but then I can go and get the thoughtful side of it as well. Yeah, I can get certain feelings out that are those immediate things that always make me feel like I've backtracked about 7 years. I'm like, how did I go further back than where I started? It's friggin' annoying. But then on the same side, be like, yeah, you're kind of a fucking mess right here, but you can go and do this and you're going to help yourself a little bit. And none of it's going to be a permanent solution, but you can work on it. And the other side of it is why can I not have one moment when I'm not crying when I'm talking on this dang Zoom calls? Um, when you have your retreats, when I've been to your home, um, or even with the classes that you have, um, I feel more seen and understood and cared for than I show myself. Um, like the people in the room, the people in the diamond codes, I feel more caring out of you than I treat myself with. So, shit. So I'm always learning that. And the one thing, I mean, I know since I started working with you, I see, and I saw it before, but it's just so much more clear now that I see where it is that I need the work. I see where it is when I'm treating myself like shit, or when I'm being too judgmental, or any of those things. I see them, but I also know that when I'm dealing with that, I can come in the diamond codes. I can drop something there, and I know that someone is going to say something that's going to serve me in one way or another, whether it's you or one of the other members. And I've been asked several times, and my husband, like, he will ask me because he's interested. And then he also asks me, he's like, I'm going to play devil's advocate. And he will have these conversations with me. And, he always starts, he's like, what are you getting out of this? He was like, what are you getting out of this? He was like, and then he's not challenging me to be like, this is crap. What are you doing? He wants to know because he was like, I want to understand. He's like, because this is the first time I've ever seen you put yourself before anything else. And he's like, I'm trying to understand. And he's like, I love hearing you talk about it. And the first thing that always comes to me is really, honestly, from the moment that I met you, it was like coming home to myself. Like, and I didn't even know what you did when I met you. You were just a girl who wanted to sing karaoke. Um, but and after I found out, then I was just like, that's what it was. I'm like that's why I felt so pulled to her is I'm like the second I started binging your podcast like a crazy woman, I was like, this is why I'm supposed to be working with this woman. And I don't understand why, but I'm this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And Tim was just like, okay. He was like, if you think this is what you need to help you deal with all the shit that you've been dealt, he's like, by all means, please go and fucking do that because, I was making him crazy. He was like, you're annoying. And I'm like, right back at you, buddy. Organize your office, man. You're driving me crazy. But yeah, he was just like, he was like, I know that you've been looking for something. He's like, if you think this is it, then you do that. And that's all I've found since I started working with you. And it really is the women that come to you, that are in your spaces. There is just the same energy that runs through all of them. And so there's like this connection that it's almost like it was there before we knew it was there.
It probably was.
And that's where like this is something that like it really like I don't care what I mean, you're in the moment, you're always like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with this, whatever, this person with this attitude, with this opinion or whatever. But I really don't care. I don't care. I'm just like, I'm gonna do what I need to do for myself. And sometimes I like those women better than I like the people that I'm in a room with when they're driving me insane. I'm like, oh, God, you're a lot. You're a lot to deal with. And I really do. Sometimes I was like, I like being in that space with those women more than I like being around human beings. That might be some work to work on. I don't know, but
Always.
that's where I am.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I remember that night. It was New Year's Eve and Josie went snowmobiling and I was so sad that I had to celebrate New Year's Eve alone and I got invited to a party and I was like the 13th wheel, if that's a thing. And Michelle is a beautiful singer and I was like, I want to sing or will you sing me Strawberry Wine? Or I don't remember how I initiated it, but
Yeah.
it was a beautiful night. And since then we have worked together and it's really beautiful because I mean, the Libra energy, the shadow Libra energy when we first met was very loud, and you knew that, and we worked through it, and you went from like, I don't know if I want a session, I do want a session, I don't know, and now you have your France trip almost paid off. So you're coming to France, you went all in on the work, you're taking care of yourself, you reflect everything, and you just do the work. It's really magical. Like, it's unbelievable to watch the evolution, and I love it. And it's always such a tender heart moment for me when you speak about the journey. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Everybody was, I just learned what snapping was. Everyone was snapping when you were talking, and I guess that's like clapping, like it's like yay, and I didn't know what that was. I'm like, why are we snapping? Like in another call, I'm like, what's this mean? But it's like thumbs up, yay, good job. So you had a lot of people agreeing with what you're saying. Oh, okay, so I want to just wrap this up. And the reason I wanted to do it this way today is because if it's an invitation to do the work in whatever way you want to do the work. And there's no right way to do the work. I mean, some people address their body first. Some people address their relationship with their spirit or soul first. Some people want to do inner child work. I mean, really, there's so many modalities that you can do and dive into. But I think for me, the one thing is just being self-reflective, having enough awareness that until we look at ourselves, not everyone else, like everyone else, we have to just start letting there be air, letting there be oxygen, letting there be space, and just realize like we are always going to have players in our life that are going to bring forward problems, conflict, areas where we feel less about ourselves. Like that's going to always exist. So the only thing that we can really control is by looking at how am I going to deal with this feeling? And where is this feeling coming from? And just observing, and understanding, as I've said it many times, under every trigger is an unresolved trauma. And underneath that unresolved trauma is your truth. And we're finding the truth. We're digging for the truth. Like that is the purpose. And I'm very, very excited because there's something with the Voice of the Bespoke, which was a masterclass about your truth frequency, and Signed, Sealed, and Sovereign, which is all about doing an energetic audit on your life and having your non-negotiables around really prioritizing your sovereignty and not trying to always lead through sovereignty, because I just don't think that's realistic, but we should at least have a taste of it. We should at least know our authenticity and know how to anchor into it when we're in the comfort of our own peace. And I didn't have anything planned. And then I, of course, am always working with people that are trying to extract that out of me. How can I let my business be a reflection of what I really want to do? And what I realized is I'm still very much so energetically people pleasing. Like I'm not showing up as 100% authentic. Like I'm trying to be likable. Like I'm trying to oh, hi guys. Like I'll even hear it in my voice. And I'm like, that's not how you talk, Jenny. Like, what are you doing? I'm a little bit more bold. Like I actually do come off more in my masculine when I am helping somebody, because I want that the authority needs to be in the room and somebody needs to hold space. And that is what I'm good at. And so when I first did the diamond codes, I did the diamond codes from more of, I would say everything I do has a feminine energetics aspect because we're going inward, but it was more about archetypes. We did the meditations, and the moon was your mermaid. And like, we went on these journeys, and these journeys were really emotional, and they created a lot of movement in my world. And do you remember when the doorbell rang and there was a rose with a diamond in the middle of the rose at my door? Because I was like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Maybe I should just not do this at all. And I just launched the diamond codes. And there was somebody that started a florist in town and left a red rose, single red rose with a little pin diamond in the middle of the rose. Like, if spirit isn't have my back for doing this, I don't know what is. I mean, that was unbelievable. But anyway, so those are all why the Diamond Codes membership started, because I was like, okay, we're in this together. We're going to start a community. But I feel like now I'm going to do a Diamond Codes 2.0, which is just going to be a 9 class series of the counterpart of that. And it is going to be more of that psychological, let me speak to you about what actually is happening in a voice that you will actually listen to, and let's make aligned action. Let's take movement towards who we really strive to be. And so I feel like I was my, softer self leading the diamond codes the first time. And now I'm going to come to you guys with authority and bring you energy that is going to completely light you on fire and start to create the life that you want by being unapologetic, anchoring deeper into radical responsibility, having emotional elegance be, of course, a goal, but not shame yourself when you don't lead yourself that way, because to get there, you are not going to be emotionally elegant. Like, you are going to have to manage your anger and still have the conversation. You're going to have to walk away from things that are dragging you down. You're going to have to make hard decisions. Like, your life isn't going to just fall into place. You have to build it. And we are in the last quarter of this year, and that's a 9-year. So we're closing this up. And so how do we want to close it up? Do we want to close it up and look at our lives as saying, like, am I measuring my life by the years that pass and thinking I'm missing opportunities, or am I building something? Each year that passes, am I becoming more and more confident, sovereign, authentic? And that's how I want to look at my life. I want to know that, like, my best years are yet to come. I'm going to be the best version of myself next year, and then next year, and the next year, and the next year. And I'm going to continue to deepen my relationship with my inner child and my truth. And it's going to be out of this world. Like, I don't even know who I'm going to be in 5 years. That's how wild it's going to be. And that's how it is when I look back 10 years ago to where I am now. I'm like, what? Like, that girl would have been like, no, you're kidding. You're lying. That's a lie. And I'm not lying. Like, this is my life now. I would have to convince my past version of myself that this is the life I'm living. And I want it to be the same. But I look and I now know what needs to happen. And that's not going to be like, okay, let's just do another meditation and I'm going to hold your hand. Like, that's not how we get there. We soothe our inner child and we want compassion. We want that for ourselves as well. That's part of it. But it is certainly not that missing piece that very, very, very few people have the courage, the discipline, or the inner strength to do. So I'm very excited to bring that to the Diamond Codes. If you're in the Diamond Codes, you're going to have access to those 9 classes for $99. And if you're in this, so you signed up for this 6 months ago, or you bought this one and you're watching the recording, you also can access it for $99. And so this is a 24-hour offer for $99. That is like $11 a call, I think, or not. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So somebody do math. That sounds right. So I wanted it to be very accessible at first. When I launch it, I haven't actually sat with the price because I keep thinking about more and more and more that I want to bring into it. So it's probably going to be one of my bigger programs, but it's going to be in the Diamond Codes. So if you're in the Diamond Codes, then it's going to live there. You just have to pay $99 to get in. So once this podcast goes live, it is going to go live on tomorrow after the 24 hours, and then it will launch. And so that's going to be a different price. So if this is of interest to you, you'll get an email. It will be in your email after this is done recording. But I'm excited about this new wave, because I think that there is going to be really a lot of shifts come next year. I mean, it's going to be a 1 year, yes, but it feels like we have an opportunity to really be a part of something big. And there is just a movement happening around people that are going to choose themselves and not get caught up in the noise, caught up in the storm. Like, we have to know experience over evidence. If we get wrapped up, think about what, like, how much information is available for us right now, and not having the discernment of what is true and what is not true. Everything you read, people, like, I even do it. I'll read something on Instagram and think it's the damn news. It's like, that's not true. Where did you read that? Like, I don't know. Somebody I like posted it. It's like, that's not true. That's not true. So why do we do that? And it's because we're consuming, looking for what? Evidence, proof. So what? We can be validated. If we are really in our energetic power, we don't need that. It's just noise. And then we get to decide, what do I want to put in my energetic space? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel pleasure? What makes me feel that it's okay to just actually figure out how to lead ourselves through the day and have a human experience. Like that is what I'm trying to do, is like come back to the body in this Virgo Pisces axis that we're in, North Node, South Node. That is about like coming home to where I can feel safe enough into the vessel, the temple, the body that is mine, so I can make space to be a portal of the Pisces energy to come through with accuracy and discernment for me, so I can lead myself. And some of us in human design, we know this. If you are a 4, 5, or 6 in your human design, you are meant to live for the world. You are meant to talk to the world. If you're a 1, 2, or 3, you're meant to live for yourself. Not meaning that you can't share it with the world. I'm a 1, 3, so but I have to, I can't live for you. I can't be like, oh, I want to go live this so I can then come back and tell Heather. Like, that's not how it's going to work. It's like, no, I need to live for me. I need to go have trial and error. I need to fail forward. I need to do all the things. And then I need to tell you a story. And through my truth frequency, when it's authentic and when it is vibrating with truth, you will feel it. And then you will get the download that you need to lead your life. But everybody's different. Everyone has a different purpose. And it's about trying to get attuned to that frequency and being unapologetic for it. Like, that is why we learn these modalities, and that's why we do this work. And then we're in community so we can reflect upon each other and laugh and be like, this shit is so hard. This shit is so hard. Like, let's have champagne over Zoom and be all across the world and come together and love on each other and cry, okay? And then we do it. And that's why we're here. So, oh, thank you for being here. I didn't get to read all the comments, but I saw a lot of love and a lot of hearts, and you guys communicating with the others. I love that, Terry, you made it live. Everybody was so happy to see your face, and it's just really nice to be together. I really wish you the most amazing Thursday evening and the rest of your weekend. And this will be going live tomorrow afternoon on the podcast. So refer it to a friend if you feel inclined. And one last cheers. I love you. Bye.